we speak about, sometimes we speak too easily, too quickly about what we call expression. This, again, should happen, but as a phenomenon of the sovereignty of spirit, I don't know, my English is limited. This is always glücklich, and it is serene. It is serene is not tragic, it's not joyful something, but it is sovereign. It is incredible. It's an intensity which I think happens in art, and this is for me an important medium of discussion. Therefore, we spoke about this phenomenon heavy or glücklich or serene as a situation of intensity in the musical medium. Even maybe it's a medium of transcendence. That means the sounds and material. We hear a lot of more or less interesting sounds or noises. But interesting is boring. I don't, maybe it might be interesting in a technical way, or one has not still heard in a concert hall such things, but this is what once Michael Dillon asked me when I tried to describe my way of finding sound elements. Where is the transcendence? Where it is more than just interesting sounds, even also more than just a feeling or affect. It is what I would say is the presence of a creative spirit. This is art in comparison to a lot of wonderful mediums we live with in the entertainment, which I respect totally, or in other cultures, and the beauties of Asian art or all these other cultures. They are wonderful things, but the European, the Occidental way of art has this speciality. Maybe a sort of irritating medium, but irritation means, or even provocation means, invite us to open our horizon. This might be disturbing if one wants to be together in this nice ambiente where one was before. Inviting to open his horizon, inviting to open his ears, inviting to open his heart, to open himself. And this is always a sort of irritation, and then it is a wonderful challenge. And there, the definition of art to me seems now more and more important, because in the politics and everyone, one makes not more any difference. When I have to go, for instance, to Japan, I have in the visa, or I'm a businessman or I'm an entertainer. I have to make my cross as an entertainer. And okay, why not?
Holding a microphone on stage and singing "Don't Worry About Happiness."
Yes, no, and entertainment is, I think, it's a respectful service. It is what I sometimes call a sort of magic. Maybe we need sometimes to forget about problems, just to be not to be sick. But it's another sort of communication than art, and this difference I think is helpful to think about. I did this today with the students of the Manhattan School, and I had wonderful reactions, questions, critical questions, which helped me to think more about this issue. Weissenschaller was not tortured, it was treated in a very corporal way. We felt the touch, touching a string on a bow, and if you touch a bow on a part of the corpus and all the things. I think this is another idea of beauty, of another way of our sensorium, our physical sensorium, to open it and to. Normally we do not hear that things, not in a concert hall. And sometimes I also say today, now you are very kindly listening what I'm saying, but you don't dare hear my voice, which is a little bit like this. So I should maybe a little bit misuse my voice to understand, to be creative also. Then you understand to hear the physical element. And then happens, one begins to hear the physical aspect, and one begins to laugh. Interesting. It seems to be a taboo, such things. And it's such a bit like Passion for cello, which is a rather old piece, written in '69, so it's almost half a century. I think, yes. No, 40 years. Okay. I should not exaggerate. And I think, I don't know if we intellectually understand what happened, but you see, I didn't avoid the so-called philharmonic sound. There comes one, a D flat, with a big crescendo, and this is one way of touching such an instrument, and the other way is touched in a more violent way, or in a more sensitive way. I don't know how to say it in English. And so we have another way of context. And to hear the good old notes we know before in another context is a sort of Befreiung. Yes. And well, '69 is also the time of the student revolts, and we were young, and we had to find another sort of beauty. Because do you always make such beautiful or exotic effects just in a concert hall to entertain the intellectual listeners by more science fiction sounds also. So we were asked as composers, what are you doing in such a situation in which the concert hall is a sort of to flee there and to forget about problems. And on the other hand, it's totally senseless to make any propaganda in the piece. What is possible is to remember each listener that he is able to open and to change his possibility to communicate. And this, to remember that we have something like a sensorium, and to remember that there is a human spirit who, with his decisions, makes possible this. This is maybe even in a certain way a sort of political message. In a totalitarian system, this would not be allowed, because thinking people would be disturbing. So more I cannot expect from this. But in that time, we had such a sort of, more or less, we had to give our answers to the political aspect of sounds. And there were a lot of composers, and they made cantata about bad society, about the Holocaust, about a lot of things, and people went there and they were more or less moved, and they clapped their hands, and then they went home, and it was then just nice music. And so, at that time already I said a bagatelle from Webern is much more irritating, also ideologically than all that symphonic pieces which one sees the composer wants us to be moved. And if I hear that the composer wants me to be moved, I do not. And I am moved if something is totally innocent and consequent in itself. So I'm much more moved about maybe a Bach invention, which doesn't have such a speculation, only is consequent in itself. And so this was my answer in a situation where a lot of composers or young men try to make a sort of political